What is up, everybody? Welcome to HCS Source episode number 6. My name is Active. I am a content creator and caster. And of course, I've got with me none other than Tony. Tony, intro yourself, brother.
Yo, what's up, guys? Why not be reckless, aka why not be casting? And I'm kind of a freaking big deal. If you don't know, now you know. One of the HCS commentators, full-time content creator, Twitch, YouTube. You already know I don't hide from nobody. But you know, it's funny because I guess I gotta reword it because I said I'm one of the HCS commentators. Let me rephrase this. And we're two of the HCS commentators, the newest commentator to join the HCS team. It's young Timothy, Active E.
Let's go.
Is in the building.
Woo.
How you feeling, Tim?
Oh my goodness gracious, Tony. I've known about this for about 2 weeks now. I think I signed the contract 2 weeks ago, and I've been wanting to tell people forever. Guys, I've been wanting to tell you.
Why did you tell them?
For so long, because I didn't want to get sued. I've been wanting to tell you guys for so long. So
what you're saying is you care more about your pockets than you care about your community. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. Absolutely. No, I love you guys. Absolutely. This is incredible. It's a chance of a lifetime. I've been working very, very hard for this. Alongside Tony, alongside many other casters. I've always gotten to the cast and then automatically I ask what I did wrong, what I need to improve on, and I've improved on that. Of course, I had the blessing of Bravo. I've had Onset work with me. I've had everyone in the industry work with me to make sure that I get as good as I can, as fast as I can. And I guess HCS saw something in me here, and I am very honored and blessed and humbled by this opportunity, and I am not taking it lightly whatsoever. But that being said, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a blast. And not only that, we're going to have a blast today on today's show because we're going to take a deep dive into the pools for this tournament. We've got a lot of pool.
Deep dive into the pool. Okay.
Into the pool. So, yeah. Do you have your swimmies on? Tony, you have your swimmies on? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I got my flippers. I'm ready. I can hold my breath real long.
I cannot. I think I got 30 seconds maximum. But yeah, we're going to take a deep dive into the pools. We got obviously Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, Pool D. All right. They each got 4 teams in it. You guys all know how it works. The top 2 from the pools will move over to the championship winners bracket. The third place in the pool will move over to round 2 of the elimination bracket. And of course, 4th place will move into round 1 of the elimination bracket where they'll meet with the 4 teams that qualified in the losers bracket from the last open super tournament. So lots of information to take in, but you know what, Tony? I'm gonna let you start because you're the veteran here. I'm a newbie. I just came into HCS. I'm coming in new as can be. I'm gonna give it to the veteran here. Okay, old Grandpa Tony. Tony, why don't you tell him? Let's talk about Pool A first. What do you have to say about Pool A? We've got Sentinels, E United, Complexity, and Crowd Pleasers. Tell me your thoughts.
First of all, I'm pretty sure you're older than me, so I don't know how this works. That I'm Grandpa, you're not. But it's fine. We'll talk about that another time. Because right now we're going to talk about Sentinels made up of Frosty, Lethal, World 2, and Snakebite. Their first matchup potentially being E United, and that comes up with Manny, Rain, Ryan Noob, and Suspector. Sentinels coming off of the big win in Kansas City, showing that they can step up when it matters most, but now they're going to have to see if they can do the same here in $125,000 super.
Ooh, that's a lot of money.
Ooh. E United, unlike Sentinels being one of the longest tenured rosters, if not the longest tenured roster that according to my records. Meanwhile, E United implementing 2 new pieces, that being Manny from formerly of KCP, Suspector formerly of XZ. I got Sentinels winning this. Call it 3-2. I think E United could take them 5 games. And maybe 3-1. I say United at least take 1 game, but have Sentinels finish off 1-0. Next up, Sentinels versus Complexity. And although Complexity having that duo of Monster and Vetro being dangerous, Ironical and Psycho coming over from Luminosity, a team that can really set the pace in a lot of these matchups, I don't think they're going to be able to do it against the likes of Sentinels. I'm sorry. They're just too good, too experienced, and World 2's too Canadian. I have Sentinels finishing this, and to be honest with you, I think a 3-0 might be in the future. Maybe a 3-1. I'll give Complexity some respect, but I think Sentinels come out on top, and then Crowd Pleasers made up of Kratos, Mines, Piggy, and King J. King J, best friends with Royal to a Snake Bite. They know each other really well, and I think crowd pleasers are interesting. I think Mines, Piggy, and King J. They love to challenge. They love to get into the face to their opponents. And you have Kratos, who anchoring those spawns and making sure that the team is grounded out. I think Kratos brings a lot to the table. Sadly, they'll bring a lot to possibly the elimination bracket because it ain't going up against Sentinels. I'm sorry, Sentinels pulling off the 3-0, maybe 3-1. Next up, we got E United going up against Complexity. This is the matchup I'm excited for. Because I think a lot of people have E United probably finishing off 3-0. And I can see that. I respect your opinion. I do. But do not sleep on Complexity. I think Complexity can really make this a series. My brain is telling me E United finishes off. We'll say 3-2 again. We'll say Complexity take this to a game number 5. But if I had a time machine, I went into the future and it said, hey, guess what? Complexity went out this series. I would say, oh, that's an upset. Yeah. Am I shocked? No. Complexity are good. Complexity are really good. I just happen to think E United is better. Complexity going against Crowd Please is going to be the final matchup there. I like Crowd Pleasers a lot. I really do. But at the end of the day, Complexity of, you're bringing in two duos who have been together for quite some time. You're reuniting Veteran and Ronicle from back in the Halo 5 days. They understand each other's play styles. Psycho and Ronicle have been teaming together way back in the day as well. I think there's going to be too much chemistry on Complexity's roster where I think Crowd Pleasers, I'm looking at this squad, I'm like, wow, this is the best available talent put together. But it doesn't feel like a team. To Complexity feel like a team. Crowd Pleasers feel like, wow, these are some talented free agents that came together. And it's no disrespect to them whatsoever, but I have Complexity finishing in 3rd place in this pools. Again, at Sentinels 1st, E United 2nd, Complexity 3rd, and Crowd Pleasers 4th. And Active, you got something to say about that? We can go right now.
You know what?
Don't be coming early with your BS. I swear.
You know what? I pretty much fully agree with you here, except for the fact that I think Sentinels are first here in the pool. I think Complexity is second. Now, that being said,
I like that. That
being said, okay, the game 5 you talked about, I think goes in the favor of Complexity. I think these guys are passionate. I think they're young. I think they want it bad. Do United want it just as bad? I don't know. Potentially, like you said, it's a big tournament, 125 grand on the line. A lot of these teams, we're going to talk about this later, are going to Austin, Texas to land. They're going to be, there's no excuses. There's no, oh, you got better ping or, oh, I'm desyncing. There's no excuses. Everyone's going to be on the same type of internet, all the same ping. The server's literally your neighbor. Okay, you can go touch it. Wow, I just dropped my water. So I think for me, it's going to be Sentinels, Complexity, United, Crowd Pleasers. That's pretty much just kind of flipped. Okay. A little bit of a flip there. I really believe in this Complexity roster. They're very fast, very young, very passionate, and I think that they can edge out United. I don't think United is ready. Wait, I'm not done. There's one other factor here. Okay. You're not only changing 2 players on your squad. You're not only, bringing in Suspector and bringing in Manny. That's fine, right? You're not getting Shig for the Super. He can't travel to Austin. He's staying home. He tweeted this today. So you have to get B. Rizzle, I think his name is. Brizzy from XSET. He was the coach of XSET. So you have a brand new coach as well on your roster. You don't know how he does things. I think things are going to be so confusing. Do they have some time? They're probably there right now landing. I guarantee they're practicing right now landing. I don't know. They're practicing right now as a team there, I'm sure. But I think there's just so many factors there that make this very unorganized and make it very chaotic and new. Does that mean that they can't have a honeymoon stage? No, I think they can. I think United have a honeymoon stage here with their 2 new players and, of course, the new coach. But I think Complexity is going to overwhelm them. I think that Complexity is just a lot of passionate, fast-paced. We call them Zoomers in my day. Guys are just zoom in and just slay. I really like Complexity. I love this roster. Monster is my X factor. I think when he's playing well, his whole team will follow suit. So Sentinels, complexity,
So-
United crowd pleasers. What are your thoughts?
So I think that you would probably have fun having a little friendly wager.
Oh,
We'll make things interesting.
oh boy. Oh, what are you looking at here?
No money.
Okay.
But I'll say that if E United lose this matchup in pool play on the Monday after the tournament's over,
Yeah.
I'll sing "Hit Me Baby One More Time" by Britney Spears, and I'm gonna ask that if E United win, you do the same, and I want it on stream and then recorded
Oh, recorded?
and then put on Twitter.
I'm going to take out the recording part and I will accept. No recording. Put it on stream.
I need to go on Twitter.
Delete the VOD. No. No proof. Listen, do you want me to get fired off of HCS tomorrow? Like, they see that on Monday, they're going to be like, who the frick did we just we got to get rid of this guy. He's not going to Orlando with us. Screw this kid.
Okay. All right. Stream only.
And I don't publish my VODs, so I hope you don't either, because if you do,
mine are out there. I ain't hide. I ain't had it for nobody. But talk to me about Pool B.
All right, Pool B, we've got Cloud9, FaZe Clan, Oxygen Esports, and Need and Org. This is a pretty decent pool, but I talked about this in the last episode, and we gave a little bit of our predictions, and I put FaZe Clan at, I believe, 6th. There's a reason for that. I've talked a lot with Sparty. Sparty really likes me, which is awesome. He's a great guy. Hugs me at events. Just a really cool dude. We've gotten along really well. I don't know why. It's just awesome. It's great. A really humble guy. Someone you if we lived together near each other, I would definitely be really good friends with him. But he did mention they're not ready. He said there's a lot to work on, and that's to be seen, right? We've seen it in the LANs. We've seen it in the we've seen it in the scrims. We've seen their gameplay 12-1 against Optic in scrims. Now, I don't like to put a lot of value on the scrims. I'm not that kind of guy. I understand the scrims aren't everything. In fact, some of these top teams, I don't even think they go into scrims to win. But like I've talked about before, there's a lot more value in losing because you can literally study. Like, that 12-1 scrim is so valuable to this FaZe roster. And I think they've all got the work ethic to get better, to get to the point where they're one of the best in the world. But we're talking this weekend, okay? There's not a lot of time. On top of the fact, Spartan broke his controller at Dallas, so he has to use a new controller, so he's already chalked. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he broke his controller apparently at Dallas. He had to get a new controller. I'm just kidding. This is not going to play a huge factor. But, so I think, that being said, Cloud9 against FaZe, Cloud9 take it. A 3-1, 3-0 maybe, 3-0. I think that Cloud9 versus Oxygen Esports, I like this Oxygen Esports roster. I think that Triton is a player who really surprised me that he wanted to retire. He got off complexity, talked about wanting to stop gaming, just do it for fun, and now he's ending up on all these orgs, and he's still playing at a really high level, which is incredible to see. So I really liked his Oxygen Esports roster, but Cloud9 3-0. Cloud9 3-0 against Need and Org as well. I just Cloud9, regardless of the fact that I don't think Bound has, I can't say, okay, I haven't watched enough of them to really say how Bound is affecting this roster, but I hear from Tony, who hears from the grapevine, that this is one of the, like, they're practicing the hardest they ever have right now. So to me, that says good things. To me, that tells me that they want to somehow work this out. Losing that player in Renegade, of course he was a great player, but Bound has other strengths, that Renegade didn't have. Maybe his flank ability, maybe his ability to be in the right spots at the right time, the playmaking ability. Renegade had that as well, but I think Bound will bring, that movement tech. He's a speed demon. The guy's insane with movement. He has been since Halo 5. So I think Bound will definitely fit. So I say they win all across the board. Now FaZe. Moving on to FaZe. FaZe versus Oxygen Esports. I really want to say that they take this, and I think they do, but I think it will be by the skin of their teeth, just because this team has so much to work on. Now, that being said, I want to make a point to say that I watched them in the JJ tournament for $1,000. Tony, you casted that with Shyway. I think that their improvement from the very first game they played against G1 to the very last game they played against G1 was literally an insanely stark difference. There was such a difference from that first series to the last series where they played against G1. They still lost, but their communication was better. Their bait and switch ability was better. They seemed to be gelling way better, and that's just off of one little tournament, right? Imagine what they're going to do with more scrims, more tournaments, more reps. So I think that FaZe, squeak out a win against Oxygen Esports, and I also think they do the same against Need and Org. So I think FaZe is going to play second here. I think Cloud9 is first in the pool, and then I think it goes Oxygen and Need and Org, which is pretty much based on their seeds for me. What do you think, Tony?
It's hard for me to disagree, but I just want to paint a picture and just to give you guys a roster. By the way, FaZe, Falcon, Renegade, Snipe Down, and Spartan, Oxygen Esports, Common, Triton, Boom, and Nemesis, Need and Org, Fluorously, Name, JK, and Gold Star BR. I just want to paint a picture. Imagine FaZe beat out Cloud9.
Oh my goodness!
So let's say that instead of Cloud9 finishing 3-0, FaZe finished 3-0 in pools. It propels them to winners bracket round number 2. Now they're just one step closer. You're 2 rounds away from making it to winners finals, and you're guaranteed top 3. That's crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised, Tony.
It's crazy to think about. But the one thing that scares me, I'm scared that if FaZe beat out Cloud9, Spartan smashes the controller through 3 monitors. I'm afraid that happens.
His passion is so incredible. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. That would be so surprising to me. And I would be shocked. That's a great picture to paint, Bob Ross. Thank you. I love it.
As far as the Oxygen Esports and Need and Org roster, just to play devil's advocate, give me Need and Org over Oxygen Esports. And there was a wise man. I can't think of his name. Great guy, great hair, great personality, great voice. Maybe a caster as well.
Oh yeah, who is it?
He said that there's something really dangerous about a team that's playing more than just playing for the moment, playing for themselves, playing for the situation. And Need and Org are 3 players that, number one, the 3 players of that EMGG roster that finished top 16 in Kansas City. Nobody had to make it out of pools. They made top 16 and definitely made out of pools. Fluorously, JK, and Gold Star BR. You have Fluorously, JK, and Name, who have had stints on this Oxygen Esports roster to the point where I think they cared about being dropped to the point where they even decided to troll the name and name themselves The Breach, which is obviously a playoff for Oxygen Esports, only The Breach for Call of Duty. So almost kind of like a B team of Oxygen Esports, the leftovers of Oxygen Esports. You cared enough to meme the name. Something tells me that this win just means something. And I think, you know what? Let me be disrespectful for a second.
Okay.
Just for the sake of being devil's advocate, I agree with that. The Oxygen Esports should finish 3rd in this pool, but I'm going to say Need and Org beat out Oxygen Esports, and they finish 3rd. Just because they're playing for something a little bit more. I don't know.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. And Need and Org is definitely a team that I know the players on there, but I didn't really know too much of the history until you talked about it. And it seems like their chemistry is definitely going to be there. And there's a reason that they've stuck together, or at least, part of them have stuck together for so long and they've kind of swapped. I think that'll definitely play a factor. And I still don't agree. I think Oxygen is just so good, but I see your point. And I think that it's a very valid point because I made it. In a sense, with FaZe.
It was you. Oh,
it was me.
Did I say wise? Oh man, I was sadly mistaken.
On. Oh boy. We gotta talk about Pool C though. This is, Tony, Optic Gaming is in Pool C, and we've also got G1, Fnatic, and Forbidden Fruit. I gotta hear your predictions on this pool, man.
Sure. Optic are good. Optic are good. Move on. Optic Gaming, ABG Formal, Lucid, and Trippy. This is 3/4 of the roster that came out after Anaheim implementing Formal and immediately finding success, especially during online and scrims and even online touring, where they won the $75,000 after crowdfunding FaZe Invitational. Did Optic Gaming. G1, kind of same thing. 3/4 of that roster, which was amazing. They were doing great. They even got third place during one of the opens. Implement Boo Boo Doo to join Swiss Squale and Pre-Devinator, and they immediately just zoom. Their graph was already do, and then suddenly, right off the charts.
Yeah.
G1 have been looking incredible again, both in scrims and open tournaments, winning a couple open tournaments and really going the distance in scrims against some of the best, the Elite Four. I'm talking Fnatic. I was high on Fnatic the beginning of season 1 before Raleigh, and they've underperformed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is not the Fnatic that we want to see. They've had moments, a few of them, but not enough for me to want to go crazy. And then Forbidden Fruit, by the way, I'm sorry, Fnatic, Zero, Rami, Septify, Super CC, and then Forbidden Fruit, Envoy, Tony, 2-turn, Hysteria, and Arctic. Optic going against G1. I think G1 have looked incredible even against Optic in scrims. G1 have looked like the real deal. They have. And they're scary. They're looking like, forget contending for top 12 or top 8. Damn it. They're looking like they want to contend for top 4. But they won't be doing it in winners round 2 because Optic finished 1-0 over G1. Call it game 5. I don't care. Game 4, game 5. G1 definitely win at least one. G1 going up against Fnatic. If you asked me right after Anaheim, I say Fnatic all day. I'm like, oh, the Fnatic that took Cloud9 to game 5? That Fnatic? With the main Slayer Envoy? Envoy no longer on the team. Fnatic no longer looking like the team that's destined to get top 4 and instead are treading above water in top 16, top 12. I'm talking treading for their life out in the middle of the ocean. And it's tough to see. Maybe this is the turning point for Fnatic. Maybe Fnatic make their stance here. Maybe. And I would love to see that. But they have to do an elimination bracket because G1 finish, we'll call it 3-1. Sure, whatever. G1 versus Forbidden Fruit. I'm interested. I'm intrigued by this matchup. Tony 2-turn formerly on G1. I think he finished breakout player of either Anaheim or Kansas City. It might have been Kansas City. I apologize. Either way, Tony 2-turn was looking like a stud. Coming off of Call of Duty, I believe, and he was looking good in the G1 roster. G1 dropped Tony 2-turn and it raised questions like, what, Tony? Really? I was shocked. Off of all the success they were finding, even finishing third during one of the opens, eventually G1 scrim with Boo Boo Doo, and Boo Boo Doo says, you know what? I like these kids. Reuniting with his former duo back in Halo 5, Pre-Devinator. Somebody called Contra on the phone. Switch 5s and Squale have been taking the esports Halo world by storm. Beating out the likes of Cloud9, Sentinels, and even Optic and scrims. And again, I'm not going to put everything on scrims.
Right.
But I still have G1 over Forbidden Fruit. Simple as that. Next up, we got G1 versus Fnatic. I'm interested. Again, I think Fnatic needs to use this as a turning point. We haven't seen the Fnatic that I haven't seen the Fnatic that I want to see. And I'm going to say that, I haven't talked to them, but I'm going to say that they're not happy with their results either. Especially when it comes to online. I feel like this is a team that should be bullying the open series. You know what I mean? Like they need to be bullying. And I guess this is where it matters most. This is where the money's on the line. And particularly they do good in the majors. And this is considered regional. By the way, typically they do well. And we'll see what happens here. But Fnatic, I had them losing out to G1, like I said. Fnatic and Forbidden Fruit. I'm really interested in it. Talk about storyline.
That's a real good
one. Talking about storylines. Envoy getting dropped from Fnatic. I said Tony 2-turn raised questions when he was dropped from G1. Fnatic dropping Envoy raised exclamation points. wait, what was it? Was it a typo? Like, wait, what?
Metal Gear Solid exclamation point.
I like legit.
Yeah.
But I will say I love the duo of Envoy and Tony, and Arctic is nasty.
He is.
Arctic's good. Hysteria brings a veteranship. You know, he's been at it for what? I mean, 50 some odd years.
55 at most, at least.
55. Yeah. Doesn't look a day over 54, but he look real good. Hysteria coming in here. Forbidden Fruit are great. They are. They're very similar to Crowd Please. The best available talent comes together, but I'm still not seeing a team. And I would say that in this case, give me Fnatic, who 3/4 of this roster have been grinding together and know what they want to accomplish, game plan in and out. And Forbidden Fruit, who I've got the chance to watch when they open, they looked good, but they were looking more reactionary. And it was more scrappy than it was clean. And at this level of gameplay, I want to see more clean. So I guess give me Fnatic, but not by much. Not by much. Give me one good reason why you like Forbidden Fruit. I'll switch right now. I don't even care.
I'm gonna give you lots of reasons. Actually, I'm ready.
But I would say give me Fnatic because I just feel like I said they've been together for quite some time. So Optic in first, G1 second, Fnatic third, and then Forbidden Fruit 4 for Pool C.
Okay, I hate to push back again, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, Fnatic, Fnatic and Forbidden Fruit.
I talk out of my ass.
I'm flipping those right now. And again, it has to do with what we talked about before. And I will be known in the HCS as the guy who talks so much about mental and so much about confidence and so much about the why. Okay, because I think that's the most important thing, and I think Halo is primarily mental. I would say 70% of Halo is mental if you consider everything, awareness, etc. Anyway, I truly think when you have Envor, who got dropped, you got Tony, who got dropped, you've got Hysteria, who I think got dropped off Complexity, and then you have Arctic, who was on G2, and then on XSET, and then got dropped. Okay, so you got 4 players who were just thrown in the trash. No one cared about them. Left them on the side of the road. They're starving for food. They're trying to make it. Okay? They want this badly. Okay? Fnatic, they're getting their butts pat. They're getting, that nice chunk of salary every month. There's a reason these guys are called Forbidden Fruit. They don't have an org backing them right now. This is just purely passion. Okay? This is purely passion coming out of these guys.
Passion fruit.
And I talked to Arctic, and he's frustrated. If you saw him in the, I believe it was one of the last open tournaments, I believe, he talked about the fact that he's just very frustrated. He's in a bad mental spot because you're on G2, making some good money, and you're on a nice team. You get dropped. Then you're like, okay, I got on XSET, another nice org that's going to treat me right. I'm going to get some time in. We got, facility, etc. Then next set just drops out of Halo. And you're just stuck. You're a great player with great talent, and you have nowhere to go. And I think he's found his spot here. I think all 4 of these players have the why. And I think that's why they beat out Fnatic. The other 2 I agree with. I think G1's an incredible roster. They're not as good as Optic. No shot. But I think Fnatic and Forbidden Fruit come out on top of that one just due to the why and just due to the fact that these 4 players got dropped out of thin air and have had to try and pick up the pieces. And they look good. They look good. I love Envor. I love Rami as well. Don't get me wrong. Great player. But I didn't like the drop there. I didn't like Envor getting dropped. Maybe there's some chemistry issues or some internal issues. Who really knows? You never know. You're not a fly in the wall. None of us are. But I do think that Envor brings the passion to the game, and that's very, very important. I think he's a little inconsistent too. I do agree that he is inconsistent, but another player who, when playing well, will literally take over an entire game, which is what you need. So anyway, I agree with you.
Can I ask one question?
Talk to me.
Is it possible that Fnatic are hearing the questions about where they are as a team, the questions about dropping Envor, and maybe they're playing for something more as well.
Maybe
maybe they're playing to prove that their decision was right, and they're playing to prove that they're not the laughing stock of the partnered squads.
Okay,
that the moments that we saw of brilliance from them maybe they could put it to, is it possible
Yeah.
that maybe Fnatic are playing with a chip on their shoulder as well? I mean, just mind you, Jazir was dropped for 2 weeks.
Yeah, which is really
2
weird.
weeks
by
he
the
was
way.
dropped. He came back, and the man looked different afterwards. He was playing for something to prove as well.
Yeah.
So,
See how
you know,
much of a difference that
I'm
makes?
just asking, does that sway you a little
My
bit?
answer
Or
is yes. My answer is yes that it is possible. I think that goes to a game 5. I think that series goes to a game 5. It goes either way. They're very aggressive. Both of them are very aggressive rosters. Very sporadic and not really organized in a sense in my eyes from what I've seen. But yes, I do agree. There is a chip. There could be a chip on their shoulder. Like that J0 drop to me is just like, why? Like, why is he dropped for 2 weeks and then comes back? You know, and then of course, like you just said, he came back and all of a sudden he's a different player. Sorry,
I should say I used the word dropped. I should say, excuse me, benched.
Okay,
That's on me. I apologize.
That's okay. No. Oh yeah, no, it's okay. So benched. But why? You know, maybe they were looking for someone else, and then that has to affect the mental a little bit. So yeah, he came back swinging. Again, that's another intangible. I'm always gonna, like, you're gonna hear me slam on this. This is me. Like, this is what I think I will specialize in, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is just my pure opinion. The intangibles are what matter. You saw it right there with J0. Maybe he brings that to this as well, because maybe he thinks that his potential job is in jeopardy. Maybe he thinks he's gonna get benched again. So yeah, I think he brings the fire. I think Rami has been on multiple squads, right? He was on SSG at one point. I can't even remember how many times he was on a different team. He's been on a lot of different teams. Yeah, I think I do agree. That's a great point. I think they go to a game 5 on that series. I think it'll be a really interesting matchup. It's going to be all about who comes to play. And I don't know if those teams are actually going to Austin, Fnatic and Forbidden Fruit. I'm not sure if they're going to Austin. That's another question in the making as well. Like, I think the teams that don't go to Austin are at a severe disadvantage. Like, severe, in my opinion. Like, ping matters more in this game than any other Halo, in my opinion, ever, except for, like, Halo 3 Season 1. Like, it matters a lot. So, I think that definitely plays a factor. I do want to touch on G1. I love the fact that Boo Boo Doo like, scrimmed with, like, multiple teams, Tony, and, like, multiple teams. We're talking, like, KCP and pretty much he was touching everyone. The guy was all over the place, right? And he decided to choose G1, and he has been seen to have massive success with these guys. I love that. The guy knows what he's doing, and it's very apparent, very evident. But anyway, yeah. I think, unless you have anything else to say, we can move on to Pool D.
Please.
All right. Pool D, we've got Pioneers, G2, Lions, and Space Station Gaming. Now, this is my turn, okay? Sit back, Tony. It's my turn. Pioneers look really good. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think they're the most, obviously known to be the most aggressive squad in the HCS. Their playstyle, especially with Manny back then, was so fast-paced that a lot of the lower tiered teams, I say like below top 6, were thrown off completely. The problem is when they faced a team that would read them and understand what they were trying to do, you'd have players like Trippy completely taking advantage of their playmaking ability. He would sit in a corner, set up a trap, wait for them to just kind of mindlessly push through. I think that was their weakness, is the fact that they had one speed, that's it. It was just an automatic. One speed, that's it. I think with Nick, they turn into a manual transmission. They can shift gears at any point in time. They have different pacing at any point in time, and I think Nick brings that to the squad with his veteranship and leadership. And I think that that's the most important part of this roster for me. So Pioneers versus G2, I'm going to go with Pioneers. The reason for that is, with G2, we have Barcode being added to the squad, and we haven't seen them play as a team yet. That's one player coming from Australia who is absolutely disgusting, by the way. I think from what I've seen online, my word, that kid is disgusting. There's a reason he moved. Let me just tell you that. There's a reason the guy moved. He is really good. But they don't have that chemistry together. Now, that being said, once again, honeymoon stage plays a factor in some of these rosters. You get you always have that with a relationship, with a team roster, with anything in life. You have a honeymoon stage where you're, it's like that beginner's luck kind of. You get into it, you guys are vibing, you're playing your absolute best, boom, no drama, nothing holding you back, boom, done. I think that G2 may have that. So I think Pioneers versus G2, I think it's a 3-2. Honestly, I think this is really close series. It's all depending on how they gel. Again, that 3-2 is in Pioneers' favor, and it's because I think maybe they have some sort of a honeymoon stage with Barcode. Disgusting player who I think can really turn up, and I think he wants to, being that this is his first tournament in North America. So there's that. Lions. We've got Burton Parzelli, Hotshot Ghost, and Mortally. These guys are all so talented. We talk about Hotshot Ghost all the time. His ability to completely just outslay, destroy, playmaking ability, winning 2% fights that he shouldn't win. Like, that's Hotshot Ghost to me. Mortally, we've seen him turn up. They literally SSG, game 5, went 20-10. SSG's out. They have to play again the next weekend. Absolutely insane. That's an upset in and of itself. So we'll talk about Space Age Gaming in a minute. So I think that all that being said, I think Pioneer's still a very more balanced roster, a more solidified roster than Lions is at the moment. But there's a potential upset that could happen there, in my opinion. And then you got Pioneers versus Space Station Gaming. I love you, SSG, so much. I love every player on that squad. I love you, Lamite. Love the organization. Pioneers take that. 3-0. G2 versus Lions. G2 versus Lions, I think that, again, it has to do with the X Factor and Barcode. I think that Barcode is a player we have yet to see in a major tournament like this. I mean, the ANZ tournaments are different. Obviously, he performed well in those tournaments on the Chiefs, but I think here it's a different story. North America, in my opinion, a lot higher of a competitive skill ceiling that he has to kind of battle against, and we'll see if he's able to do that. Not too sure. It's again going to come down to those first couple games that we're able to watch. And then Lions versus Space Station Gaming. This one I think will be close. I'm going to be honest with you. They beat him in a game 5 to kick him out of the open last time. Why can't they do it again? Will SSG come more prepared? Possibly. There's a lot of film to review there. Maybe they know this matchup is potentially coming. They're going to study for it, and that would be very, very intelligent of them. So I think maybe Space Station can come on top of this one. But again, I think it's going to be a really close series, in my opinion. Tony, what do you think?
This pool D is tough. This pool D is probably the toughest one to gauge, I would say.
I can agree with that.
When SSG first came together, if you ask me this question in this pool, I say SSG win out this entire pool.
Right.
When they first came together. Well, let's break it down. Pioneers versus G2. Love Pioneers. You're not gonna find a bigger Pioneers fan than me. I've been going hard on them for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. G2 3-0'd them 3 weeks ago with Envor. I love Envor, but you said it yourself, man. Barcode can be a stud, and if Barcode can bring this at the same energy as Envor, I'm not gonna say better. I'm gonna say the same. Why can't they beat him again?
A good point.
Same roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think who did you have over SSG and Lions? Who did you have?
I said it would go to a game 5, and I think Lions would come out on top. Lions versus SSG, you're talking? I said Lions would come out on top of a game 5.
Yeah. I like the fact that you brought up the fact that these two have matched up against each other before.
Mm-hmm.
Stylistic, it's not like the Pioneers versus G2, which the difference of philosophy, Pioneers are ultra aggressive, G2 are like a defensive and one. It's not like that kind of matchup. It's just like it's two teams that are capable of winning. Give me Space Station. Sure, just to play the other side of the coin. You know, Space Station has been together longer, but I love Hotshot Ghost. Not only can he stuff the stat sheet, but he's a player. I said he has the mind of a vet. in the heart of a top amateur.
I love that quote. I'm being honest. I love that quote.
Hotshot Ghost is real. I like him a lot. Parzelli's interesting. Burton is sneakily good. I'm watching him drop 18 and Slayers in the esports arena tournament on cast. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there's a reason Flamesword picked him up in the early stages on SQ. Yeah, that he definitely saw something in him.
And Morley goes toe to toe with the best of them. And what I saw when I was playing with them, he was an IGL. Is he the IGL for this team? I don't know.
Right.
But I like the squad. I like SSG more. Sue me. You know, I think Collect and Suppressed are super young, super talented, and have a bright future. Tylenol as well. And Ace got the global champion Ace. I'm telling you,
wait,
Ace
what game was that, Tony? Can you tell me what game it was?
Halo 4.
All right, so we're just throwing that right out of the conversation. Halo 4, man. Like
Halo 4 plays more like Infinite than Halo 5 did. I'm saying, if you're looking at Halo 4 versus comparing Halo 4 to Halo 4 plays more like Infinite than Halo 5 did.
I can't do it.
I'm just saying.
I hate that game.
And on top of that, you're talking about first thing in the morning, Ace. First thing in the morning, we're talking fresh off an ice bath. He done touched grass. This man out here meditating in his chair. I'm telling you, when you see him meditating in his chair, he don't even got his hands on his control. The man is levitating above his chair with his controller just sitting in midair, and it's clicking for him, bro. Like Ace, first thing in the morning, Ace is the most dangerous player in the league. I don't know who Frosty is. I don't know who Renegade is. Give me Ace first thing in the freaking morning,
dude,
bro.
You made me snort. I haven't laughed in so long, dude. I do agree that Ace can pop off, though. And it's on a serious note.
And he has, though, for real. He has, though.
He has.
I'm telling you. Give him the power weapons.
He said
Give
that on
him the
Twitter.
freaking power weapons.
He literally said that on Twitter. He said, give me the power weapons. This is what happens. And he posted a scrim. I believe it was first the Pioneers. He went like 32-5 or something. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that, you know, I always point out these like new players as X factors, Tony. But I think Ace is the X factor on Space Station Gaming. Because I do think he's a little inconsistent. I think that his gameplay, one game will be absolutely phenomenal. And it kind of goes against everything that I believe in, because I'm a big believer in mental, and he talks like he has his mental down, but then he's very inconsistent. I don't understand it. Either he's missing something in his routine, or you know, needs to take a colder ice bath, or so. I don't know what it is, but the guy has the potential to be he has the potential to be on par in terms of slays on everyone on that roster. I do believe that.
Oh, I think he will be.
And yes, I think you're right. I think he's one of those players that when you have that veteranship mentality and you've been, you know, I joke around about Halo 4. I absolutely hate that game. I think I'm sorry, 343, you're beautiful, but I don't like Halo 4. I think I played it for the truck. There was like a truck on the line for free for all. You play Halo 4 and you try to get as many wins as possible. And I was working at that time at General Dynamics, making submarines, so I couldn't really play. So I did my best, and freaking Strongside won the truck. He got like a UNSC truck that was so sick looking, and then I quit. I stopped playing Halo 4 because that was the only reason I wanted to play. It just wasn't my type of game. The fact that there was no D-scope, etc. But that being said, having that clutch ability in a 1v1 for that much money, I think it was at $250,000 or whatever it was. That's insane. Ooh. And there's a reason that there's certain players and people that can enter those situations and really come up clutch, and Ace did it. And he's come up clutch in many other situations as well. Definitely a clutch factor on that team. Definitely an X factor as well. And so that being said, I think if he plays well, Space Station take it. I'll give you that. And again, so
that's my
well,
so just to wrap it up, and I'll send it over to you. I have G2 finishing first, Pioneer second, Space Station third, Lions fourth.
G2 finishing first. You really believe in Barcode that much, huh? That's awesome. I
don't think I was just saying we old Pioneers without Barcode.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's a good point. That is a good point. And if you're to compare Envor and Barcode, from what I've seen of Barcode as of yet, like the past week that he's been posting clips and streaming on Twitch, I think he's ahead of Envor in terms of individual skill and slayability. And that being said, I think I can definitely see where you're coming from, but I just think Pioneers are too good. When it comes to Pioneers for me, the only people that I think can beat out Pioneers are like the top 4. I think
it's themselves.
Themselves. That's a great point as well. Like the Cloud9, the FaZe, the United, the Sentinels, the Optic Gaming, like those guys. Maybe not FaZe, but like those guys can beat out Pioneers. But these other squads, I think Pioneers win every time. Of course, they don't have the Kansas City crowd near them this time. That's a big factor, right?
I mean, they 3-0'd them on July 14th.
That's my birthday.
They 3-1 them at the end of June. You know, consistently.
Yeah.
G2 run into KCP and they have an issue with them.
Interesting.
I mean, the last time that KCP beat G2 in a tournament that I know of, you're going back mid-June?
Wow. I mean, with those statistics in mind, that's kind of nuts. And you said that was with Envor?
This with Envor.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a big.
And I'm sorry. At one point with Rami.
Wow. Yeah, Remy's been everywhere, huh? He's been everywhere, that guy. My goodness.
So I'm just saying, like, they seem to struggle against G2 for whatever reason, and G2's bringing in Barcode. You know, you got the honeymoon phase coming in. You got this young, goofy young lad out here in the big old states. He out here in Texas. You know everything bigger in Texas. I mean. I'll tell you what that means after the show. I don't know if it's appropriate. We'll talk after. I'm just saying though, everything bigger in Texas.
I mean, I'm gonna go out and say like that's something that I definitely noticed in Barcode is very positive, very just a good aura, good energy out of him, which is great. And I think that's very important for a roster. And we can't forget Coach Callis, man. I mean, that guy's got knowledge, dude. That guy drops bombs of knowledge when it comes to Halo Infinite. If you want to learn, I don't think he streams anymore because he's too busy like being an actual really good coach. But you got to check him out, man. That guy knows his stuff. Like Coach Callis knows his stuff. He answers some questions to me here about G2. I kind of actually want to go over them real quick if you don't mind, Tony.
Please.
Just kind of talk about what he said. So I asked him a few questions on Twitter. And I wanted him to answer these, and he actually took a lot of time to answer them. He took about a week and a half, partly because Barcode wasn't official or anything, wasn't in the States yet, wasn't, whatever, but also because he wanted to really think about the answers that he was giving me. So I'm going to read off a couple questions here. I said, if you were thinking of your team as superstars, how would you describe each player? For example, Snipedown was always known back in the day for being an incredible sniper. He says, Straight Sick is always helping create the best team plays. He's the glue to the team. He can do it all. And is one of the best team players in the game. #BestShot. That's Straight Sick. Gilkey knows exactly when to fly at you and hold forward, yet is one of the best back players in the game. He knows how to prioritize spawns for bigger picture plays. I think these are incredible descriptions. I mean, what do you think, Tony? I think you would agree. I'm not letting you agree, but you're going to agree. Sab is usually the one creating openings for the team. He's one of the best close-quarter combat players in the game. He knows exactly how to create pressure on the map as quickly as possible. Now listen to this. This is Barcode. You ready? Barcode is our X Factor. This guy can do it all. He brings a ton of map pressure and creativity to the team with his playstyle. He's only getting better now that he's in NA. That's kind of scary, Tony. He's in NA. He doesn't have the restrictions of not finding games. He doesn't have the restrictions of 250 ping. Tony, that's scary. That is a scary factor. Second question. What would you say is your strongest game type as a team?
Excuse me.
Yeah, talk to me.
Before we get to the second question, I want to just open up for a Q&A, guys. If you guys have any questions for us in live chat, I'm sorry if anybody's listening on Spotify or on YouTube, but we'll be going to answer the questions live. Anybody in the chat right now, if you have any questions for us from this point forward, put it in the chat right now. We'll get to a couple of them. So make sure you guys get out there. I'm sorry, Active. Please, go on. I'm sorry.
We definitely want those questions. So, guys, ask them. Ask cool ones, okay? All right. What would you say is your strongest game type as a team, and what is your weakest one and why? He says, I think we're naturally good at Slayers, and as far as objective game types, we're going to be a strong oddball team. We're still smoothing out some edges in our Koth game, but it's looking better each time we play. I love that. That is amazing to me. Like, that he identifies that his Slayers are strong, Objective work always comes with chemistry, but they're already working on it, and their oddball game is strong. That's awesome. That's a big factor. I said, what have you been doing to improve as a team and try to break into the top 6 at the next Super? He said, we've been scripting and reviewing film together to focus on teamwork and improving our comms. That's pretty much a standard answer, right? I would imagine like most players or teams are going to say that. What do you think is the best and most competitive game type in the game, and why? He says, I really enjoy how the new oddball plays. This is cool. Listen to the way listen to the way this man thinks and the way he talks about this. This is very interesting. Listen. I really enjoy how the new oddball plays. There's just a ton of tension that comes with a movable objective that freezes time for points, cancels your ability to shoot your weapon, while also simultaneously highlighting your location in real time to the enemy team. Some of the wildest moments can happen in Halo Infinite oddball, and I'm all about it. That's a perfect way to answer that question for me. That literally sums up Halo Infinite oddball in a nutshell, and it's such a perfect way to describe it. I have 2 more questions from him. Who do you think is the best player in the game, not on your team, and why? Guess who he picked. Tony, I want you to guess real quick, just to make this fun and interesting. I want you to guess who Callus picked. The best player in the game that is not on his team. Who did he pick?
Frosty.
He picked Chick. He said, that live fire clip will never be topped. This game is solved. I think he was half trolling, but Chick is sick. He's disgusting. I said, what do you think makes Halo Infinite different than any other Halo competitively? He says, I think this Halo game got the equipment right. The repulsor and grapple are just sick and both have so much utility. I also think Halo Infinite is an amazing team game, hot take, but I think it might require more teamwork than Halo 3. And I'm going to 100% agree with him there. 100%. So, Tony, I got to just real quick before we get to the questions, because I see one really good question from my man Muggsy. So, what are your thoughts about his answers here?
Oh, great. I thought they were phenomenal. I loved every one of the questions. I also loved the answers. That oddball description was great.
Wasn't it?
And I feel like we should use that word for word on the cast.
I love that idea. Yeah, I love that idea. So we're definitely. I think my favorite answer was definitely the oddball answer, and again, the barcode is our X Factor answer because that's scary to think about that he's playing as well as he is because he just got to NA. But really think about that for a second. Let's say you get 15 games in a session. In NA, he probably got like 5 in Australia just because of the ping and just because he couldn't find a game, etc. at his high rank. Like you're like, dude, I don't know. I'm very excited for Barcode. That's gonna be my thing here. Tony, why don't you pick a question out of the chat and we can answer it together? You answer it first, and then I'll come in second.
First one. My question is, where is Filthy G? He's locked in my basement next to Pistola. Next one, tournament MVP. Actually, we have two. We have a 2-part here. Who's gonna be your tournament MVP? I'll let you take the floor on that one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So tournament MVP is. Oh goodness me. Shoot. All right. Tournament MVP is gonna be Frosty, because I do predict Sentinels winning this. I think Frosty is just an all-around incredible Slayer. I think he also Tony and I were talking about this earlier. He also kind of takes the leadership as well as Snakebite, so they kind of like share that leadership role. And I think that with the two of them, there's come this trust where if one of them calls a play, the other will trust, and the rest of the team will trust. And I think that Frosty just brings so much to the table in terms of that. So I think overall MVP will definitely be Frosty in this tournament. That being said, if Sentinels don't win, it's probably going to be someone different. But I truly think Frosty is MVP, and I think that they win. Your wild card player to look out for, I kind of just talked about him. It's going to be Barcode. That's the player that I truly do think that we're really going to see a player from Australia come through and see what he's really capable of with just a little bit of NA practice, a little bit of practice in North America. We're going to see what he's capable of. If you've watched his streams, if you've watched his Twitter clips, this kid is disgusting already. And I'm very excited to see what he does with this G2 roster. Tony, I know you said G2. Tony, I'm high on the Barcode train right now. I'm gonna agree with you. G2 over Pioneers. G2 win that pool. I'm sorry. I have to switch up it's kind of like
way to stand with your convictions.
I can't
You're
do
coward.
it. There's too much barcode talk. There's too much barcode talk, and I can't get him out of my head now. I want this kid to pop off. Like
been sitting on his prediction for what, a week and a half, and I give you a 15-second monologue, and you're already ready to jump ship.
What can I say,
at this
man?
point, is your favorite team FaZe anymore? Is your name even active? The whole world just turned upside down after 15. After what I said, 15 seconds. I'm sorry. A 2 minute
2 minutes
monologue.
It was a good monologue. What do you want from me? Your words are
God
powerful,
bless,
Tony.
bro.
Your words are powerful, and it wasn't actually your words. I don't care about what you said. It was Callus's words. No, but seriously, barcode is disgusting. I think he's going to be incredible. Anyway, enough about my answers. Now you answer the question. So first question: tournament MVP. Who is your tournament MVP for the Super?
My tournament MVP is going to be Frosty. Everybody's going to say Lucid. Don't forget about Bound as well. Bound's going to have an incredible tournament.
You think so? Okay.
I swear on everything I love. I'm not even joking. People are gonna see Bound on Cloud9 and see the things that they do, and they're like, holy hell. Tournament wildcard Falcated.
Falcated, and you were talking about it earlier. You think he's the top 5 most underrated player in the game. Yeah, which is awesome.
And on this FaZe roster, people are looking at Renegade, looking at Spark.
Right.
People even saying that Snipe Down, being one of the main slayers, and it's funny because consistently Falcated flies under the radar.
Dude, he does, and
it's quite disgusting. So MVP, in my opinion, Frosty's gonna should win it because he's gonna be crazy. But I think if we have a vote, people are gonna vote with Lucid.
Oh man. We've got an incredible tournament ahead of us. Honestly, I think you are 100% right about Falcated. He definitely flies under the radar, but I don't think the reason I don't agree with that, just my pushback here is I think that with the way Sparty was talking about FaZe and with the matches we've seen and the scrims we've seen, and I believe Optic is actually scrimming them tomorrow. Tony, we have to watch that if we can after the rehearsal. But I don't think Falcated is going to get the spotlight that he deserves because of the fact that FaZe is not going to perform, in my opinion, very well this Super. Now, all of that being said, I'm honestly fighting a extreme bias for FaZe right now, and I've talked about this in other podcasts. I talk about the intangibles, the whys, the 3 players on this squad that have a why to win that could essentially drive them to the top, but listening to them, listening to their communication, listening to their comms, talking to Sparty, they're not ready yet. And I think they'll be ready by Worlds. I think they contend for a Worlds Championship. I think I'm being serious. I do think that if they continue on this trajectory, because of the trajectory I saw in that last tournament, where they started in round 1 against G1, where they ended at the end of the tournament against G1, this roster is going to improve very fast. Very fast. So, anyway.
I don't know what's the point in you saying you disagree with me, because give me 2 minutes and I'll be able to flip.
I know we're not talking about that.
Give me a 2-minute monologue. I'll flip the decision. Do we have time for one more question?
Absolutely. What we got here?
Who is your dark horse? Okay, it's the same question pretty much. Who is your dark horse team, and who's your team, your underdog team? Pretty much the same question.
Okay, yeah, G2 is my underdog team. It's all Tony's fault. It's your fault, Tony. What do you want from me? They're the underdog in my eyes in that pool. They're the underdog. But I don't trust. No offense. I love Space Station Gaming so much. Like my heart and my brain are in different spots of my body, and they're also in different spots in my topics. Okay, I love Space Station Gaming. I just don't think, even though they are people have seen their performance and are not happy with it. I mean, Lions, G2 is for me. What about you, Tony?
Well, I have 2 teams that I'm looking out for as underdogs. And, I too have G1 and my other underdog squad. I want to say Complexity.
Okay.
I really do. But I'm going to say my other roster that I'm really struggling with, people just not talking about.
Yep.
Is E United. So my two underdog squads are G1 and E United. My problem is that E United are fighting against their own success. E United have consistently placed top 4, second, third, and fourth place. So it's hard for me to have them as my underdog squad, and because I feel like if I pick E United and they get top 6, I don't think it's bad. Or if they get fourth place, I don't think it's bad.
Right.
But it's not improving on what they've done in the past.
Right.
So I feel like they're almost a victim of their own success, but it's still E United not being talked about at all in the top 4s, top 6s, and people aren't even talking about E United in the top 8, which is downright disrespectful. So give me G1 because G1 have just looked incredible.
They have.
And when they've been playing in the facility, they've been absolutely lights out. Even when they've separated, because I think Switch was the only one at the facility for quite some time, and they were still doing great. So I would say give me G1, and I'll give a shout out to Complexity as well, because I think, dude, people are not they're undervaluing Complexity big time, and that's gonna change starting this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I had Complexity second in their pool, I believe. So I agree with you there, 100%. All right, I think that we've gone over here. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. And I think this was a great show. Tony and I were a little bit. What's up? You want to do something else?
What if we end the show, end the recording, and there's a couple more questions I want to pull from the chat. Why don't we answer like two or three more questions off the?
Okay.
We'll do off the recording. Is that cool with you?
Absolutely. Well,
and for those of you guys listening on Spotify and YouTube, if you guys want this inside content, I'm just saying we stream every day, 10 o'clock at night, p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays. Yep. So if you guys want to be a part of these discussions that you're not going to see the insider stuff, come on to the Twitch, coming live. You know what I mean? Get a little teaser real quick.
Absolutely, guys. This has been HCS Source episode 6. Thank you so much for watching. Again, we have it on YouTube and on Spotify every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you show some love and subscribe to the Spotify and the YouTube. Listen to something while you're on your way to work or when you're doing chores around the house. It's a great listen. Thank you all that have subscribed already and that have followed the podcast on Spotify as well. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, uploaded on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern.